Hello and welcome to this tutorial for users of Microsoft Word 2016 for the Mac. In this tutorial we'll be looking at working with graphics in Microsoft Word, and to begin with I've got my poster document that you may have seen before, and I'd like to make it a little bit more visually interesting by adding some graphics before I send it off to my printer. And first of all I'd like to add some star shaped graphics, and to do that I'm going to go to the Insert tab. And in the Illustrations section on the Insert tab, you'll find the Shapes button. And if I click on the drop down arrow there, you'll see all the different shape options I have. So we have them recently used at the top. And we also have a range of line graphics, rectangles, some basic shapes, and block arrows at the bottom. I'll come back to look at a few of these other shapes later on. But just for now, if I come back up to the top, the one that I want is this star shape. So I simply click on the star. Then move the mouse pointer back onto the screen. You'll see that cross indicating where the mouse pointer is, and all I need to do is click and drag to create the shape. Now as I drag, you'll notice that I can move the mouse and squash or stretch the star. However, if I hold the shift key down on the keyboard, what that will do is it will constrain the proportions of the star, so I don't get a squashed or stretched version of my shape. So what I'm going to do first of all is click and drag until it's a size that I want roughly, release the mouse button, and I can also release the keyboard key if I'm using that to constrain the shape, and there is my star. Now around the edge of the shape you'll see these small buttons, and those, if you haven't come across them before, are drag handles. So I can click on any one of these buttons and drag left in this case or right, and you can see that actually squashes the star again, which I don't want to do, so I shall undo that to revert the star back to its original shape. So any of these drag handles can be used to change the size of the star, and to constrain the proportions always use the corner drag handle. Now with my shape selected, you'll notice that I now have a shape format tab in the toolbar area there, and if I come across to the right side of the shape format toolbar you'll see the size box, and also a little checkbox here on the right. If I just put the mouse pointer over that, you will see a message pop up saying lock aspect ratio, and if I now click that and then come back and resize the star, this time I don't have to hold down the shift key on the keyboard. By clicking that button I've now locked the aspect ratio, and the proportions of the star are now constrained. I can also use that size section to change the size of the shape as well. So instead of clicking and dragging, I can type in the size value. Let's say I'd like my star to be 5 centimeters wide. Well, in the size section you can see that the top option is for height and the second or the lower option is for shape width. So if I just click into that and select the existing value, type the number 5, press enter, you will notice that the star has resized, but also because I have the aspect ratio locked, the height has also modified as well. Also, when the shape is selected, you'll notice this small yellow button here in the center of the shape, and if I click and drag that, you'll see how that modifies the star shape. So I have a thinner star or a slightly thicker star depending on what I want. So I'll just set it to something in between there, and in fact I'm not convinced I like that, so again I will undo that change, although there wasn't much difference to be honest. One other thing you can do is rotate the shape, and above the shape when it's selected you'll see a circular button. If I put the mouse pointer over that button you'll see the mouse pointer changes to show a circular arrow, and if I now click and drag you'll see the shape is indeed rotated, and I can drag left and right as I choose. So if I just drag to the left there, you'll notice the box by the way indicates the level of degrees if you want to be precise. I'm not too concerned about that, so I'll just drag it roughly, in this case to 323 degrees, release the mouse button, and if I now click away you will see the impact of those changes. Another thing you'll notice is that the graphic at the moment is interfering with the text, so it's sitting between the letter A and the word series. However, if I drag that shape around you'll see how it impacts the text, and in fact the text is wrapping around the graphic at the moment because of the way the formatting has been set. What I'd like to do in fact is have the graphic float above the text so I can position it anywhere without worrying about all my text moving about. And to do that, all I need to do here is go back to the Shape Format tab and come across to this Arrange button here. If I click on the drop down where the Arrange button is, you'll see I get another menu of options, and on the left hand side there's a button called Wrap Text. If I click on that, the drop down, you'll see one of the options is in front of text, and if I click on that, the star will now float above the text, and I can position it anywhere at all and not be concerned with my text being rearranged as I move the graphic. So I'm happy with the position of the star there top left, and I'm also going to change the colour, and with the graphic selected and the Shape Format tab selected, over on the left you'll see the button Shape Fill. If I click on the drop down there, you'll see a range of built-in colours, and I'm going to select this yellow colour here in the standard colour section, and I'm happy with that colour for my star. Now when I've finished working on the graphic, I can deselect by either clicking away from the object or pressing the Escape key on the keyboard, and that will deselect the object. I'm going to add another star now, so again come back to the Insert tab, go to the Shapes button in the Illustration section, click on the drop down, click the star graphic object, and this time I'm going to draw that somewhere over on the right. Remember again, because it's not already constrained, I need to press the Shift key to initially constrain the graphic. As you can see, draw the graphic or drag to the initial size that I want, release the mouse button and then the keyboard key. The shape currently has the text wrapping set, so I need to go back to the Arrange button again, come to the Wrap Text button, choose in front of text. I'm then going to go to the Shape Fill and choose the yellow colour again, and this time rotate the star to the right, like so. By the way, if you see this particular icon, you'll notice as I move the mouse pointer to the top of the page, I get a different icon. The icon changes to indicate that you're currently in the margin area, but it still works. If I put that icon over the rotate button, click and drag, you'll see the star still rotates. And again there, I'll release the mouse button. I'm happy with that. And now I want to add two more stars at the bottom of the page, but rather than redraw them, I'm simply going to copy and paste. And I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Control and C to copy, and then Control and V to paste, and just do that twice. So I've got two more stars. So I will drag one of those to the bottom left and one of those to the bottom right, like so. And I'll slightly resize those to new stars at the bottom, like so, just tidy them up a little bit. Again, just click and drag to resize, in this case again holding the Shift key to constrain the proportions there, and position that just at the lower left there. Click away to deselect and you'll see the results of my handiwork. I'm going to add one more graphic here, but I need to go onto the internet to find it, and that's a piece of clip art. One thing you'll notice if I go back to the Insert tab in the Illustration section is that there is no clip art button. So to get clip art now, you need to go online. So I'm going to switch to my web browser, and I've already prepared it a little bit. So I've gone to the Google image search, typed in movies, and here are the results that I found. Now I've got to go to the Tools section now, so click the Tools button and you'll see the Type drop down there. Click on that and I'm going to choose Clip Art, and that search will update to show me the clip art options. I also want to make sure that I've got permission to use the relevant image, and so under Usage Rights I'm going to click on that and select Labeled for Reuse. And these images are ones that the uploader has indicated it's okay for me to use, and I'd like to use that popcorn graphic there. So if I just click on that first of all, get a preview of it of course. Now if I click on the View Image button there, I'll go to a full size view of that graphic. It's quite large, but not to worry, we're going to resize it in a moment. So I'm going to right mouse click on that image and choose Copy Image, and then going to minimize the browser, come back to my document, go to the Home tab in this case, and I'm going to click the Paste button there, and there is my tub of popcorn graphic. Now obviously at the moment it's far too large, so I'm going to click on the graphic and make sure I'm on the Picture Format tab, so click on that. Come across to the Size section, make sure the Lock Aspect Ratio button has a tick in it as well, and I'm going to change the height of the graphic to 5 centimeters. So I'm going to select that existing entry, type the number 5, press the enter key, and there is my popcorn, slightly more sensibly sized. I also need to change the text wrapping so the graphic is above the text. So again, I'm going to come back to the picture format tab, and this time the wrap text, you'll notice, is in the arrange section. So if I click on the drop down there where wrap text is and click in front of text, you'll see now the graphic will float above the existing text, and I'm just going to position it over on the left there like so, and press the escape key to cancel the selection. So keep in mind those differences with the formatting tab. If I click on a shape, I get the shape format here, so the shape format tab. But if I click on a picture, like my clip art, it changes to the picture format tab. And there are slight variations in the options, but they both allow you to change things. For example, the size of the image, how the image interacts with the text, and so on. I'm going to do a few more things to complete this poster. First of all, I will press the escape key to cancel the existing selection of the picture and come back to the design tab. And over on the right hand side of the design tab, there's a couple of things I have here to do. One of those is change the page color, and I'm going to change it to a light green color. And if I then come to the page borders button, you'll see I get a dialog with a number of options here. Then I can apply different borders to my page. So if I click on the box option there and click and drag down all these styles you have, and if I choose that double line there, you can see a preview on the page. I can use the buttons around the preview there to add or remove lines on the border. So if I just want, for example, top and bottom, I can select these two buttons here. If I want left and right, I would remove those and click those two buttons at the bottom. And again, the preview gives you an indication of how the border will appear. However, I'm going to apply the border to all 4 sides. And instead of a style, I'm going to have an art option. So come to the bottom, click on the drop down there, and I'm going to choose these stars here in the list. So if I click on the stars, you'll see the preview again. Click OK. So there's my completed poster that I can send off to my printer, and hopefully it will prove to be a great success. So that completes this first look at working with graphics in Microsoft Word. I hope you found some things there that are useful and you can apply to the documents that you're working on. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.